Good morning, students. Today is Tuesday, February 11th. It is a riddle day, so we will go over this in a few seconds, but hold on to those thoughts. If you kind of have an idea, we're going to come back to that. First, you should get out your agenda book and write down your homework. So you need to be reading for 25 minutes. You need to study for Vocab Quiz 3.3, which is coming up on Thursday. And you need to also be writing your portfolio paragraph number 14, which is due Thursday as well. Please try to get your rough draft done by tomorrow, and then tomorrow evening you are going to need to revise and edit so that it is due to turn in on Thursday. And then finally, your unit test is coming up on the 20th and 21st so that is next week, Thursday and Friday. That is one of those tests that you cannot redo once you've taken it, so you really do need to be focusing and studying. And you should make a study plan for yourself using the study guide that we gave you yesterday. So it looks like this is something that we'll go over again in a little bit, but write these 4 things down, and this will be your ticket to taking your break. You'll have to have this done and written down in your agenda book. Once you're done with listening to today's instructions, you're going to go right into win time. So you don't need to wait for a teacher to tell you, just put away things and get going. The first thing you might be pulled to do is finish your speaking and listening test with Mrs. Pomager. That is where you're going to tell us a summary of your performance task and your argument for that. Then performance task, speaking of performance tasks, a lot of people have not finished that yet. And I have a list right here. So if you find yourself in this bottom section of any of these classes, you are done. You have finished the performance task. You're all good. If you're in this section, you are going to probably need to check in with me a little bit today to make sure you're on the right track. And if you're in this section, it's red for a reason. That means you're behind and you need to finish up the performance task. So go ahead and figure out if you need to be working on that, because that would be the next thing to put on your priority list for win time. You also have the option of studying a bit for your Unit 3 test using, again, the test alert that you got yesterday. And you should be identifying things you really need to study in red. Yellow are kind of moderately important, and green you really understand those topics and you don't need to study them too much. Last but not least, you have the option to independently read, and I may or may not get around to check in with you for state of the class. So enjoy that IR book that you hopefully checked out yesterday. Second half of the class, so after the break, you will come back in and we are going to be working on watching the Internet of Things together as a class. You may have watched that a little bit yesterday, but we're going to re-watch it today as a class and discuss. And then you're going to be completing the comprehension questions 1 through 4 on page 226 to wrap up that. You do not need to do any evidence log for this. This is just comprehension questions. So if you have any questions for our agenda for the day, please raise your hand now and clarify with the teacher. If not, get going into win time. Thanks.